Hello, my wandering soul. Welcome into your monthly pick a card tarot reading. My name is Amanda, and we are going to be looking at the energy of the upcoming month to give you clarity, inspiration, and or actionable insights on how to navigate the energy of the month ahead. The timestamps for each one of these soul paths are in the description box, along with anything else you'd like to know about me, the channel, or the decks that I'm using today. Now, remember, these messages and these readings are general, and they're here to offer you insight, not instruction. So please do use your discernment and intuition to decide what feels best for you and lovingly leave the rest. So for those who are still here and would like an introduction to the soul paths today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have the Moonology Oracle deck with the opalite stone. For Soul Path 2, we have Wisdom of the Oracle with the purpurite stone. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Hare's Odyssey Oracle with the BC Jade stone. So when you feel ready, choose the soul path that is calling to you the most. Head into the description to find the timestamp for the soul path, and we'll see you over there. Hello, my dear Soul Path 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Moonology Oracle deck with the opalite stone. We're just going to pull a couple of cards for your month ahead to get some energies. I'd like to pull one to start, and then one for the end of the reading, which won't be revealed until the end, and see how it might tie together with the month of September. For Soul Path 1, one card, please. So slow it down. It's interesting that we have a card that looks very similar to the opalite energy here. And I'm almost wondering if you need to slow down to see something more clearly in the month of September. Slowing down might give you a sense of clarity as well. So it's like things are foggy and maybe you're trying to rush through things to get out of the discomfort of not knowing, to find the answers, etc. But the answers might come in a space or a place or at a pace at which is different than what you expect. So there's something about being counterintuitive to what you think is going to give you clarity or answers. It's going to be the opposite of what you think. So that's really interesting that I'm getting that. But slowing it down might be something to consider, especially if you are feeling panicked or if you're feeling pressured to make a decision. That is an indication of, okay, I don't want to make a decision in a space where I'm unclear, where I feel pressured. There's also this feeling of panic. Panic and pressure are coming through specifically related to scam calls or scam emails. So I feel diligence and getting clear before you make a decision or click a button. Be very wary about that. That's for some, not all. But I do feel like you need to come from a space of emotional clarity, maybe mental clarity first, so that you can move forward with a little more confidence and know that what you are choosing is correct. So on the split, we have the Queen, there's your clarity, Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and the Nine of Cups. So yeah, this is about something to do with your fulfillment and what is going to satisfy you, fulfill you, something about your joy to lead you to more joy. Again, the Queen of the Queen of Swords is about discernment. It's about having clarity, about getting all of the information first. So I really think that that is a very strong energy that's coming through. Let's get 3 cards. What's going on with Soul Path 1, please? 4 of Swords, there's your slow it down energy. So that could be something that you're already doing coming into the month of September. You're feeling like things need to slow down. Maybe things have been feeling really pressured and fast-paced lately. We have the 7 of Cups. Yeah, there's a lack of clarity there for sure. Good, good, good. We've got the Sun. And then we have the 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. All right. So the overall energy of the month, I think this is a really strong energy. The opening messages, there's something here about your emotional clarity. I feel that there's going to be some fog around that. Maybe some of your feelings or some of your emotions are not feeling like yours. Maybe there's a response or maybe a desire that you have, maybe even a hobby that you are indulging in. It just doesn't feel aligned and you're not really sure why. Maybe you don't really know how you feel about a certain situation. And so there's a fogginess around the middle of the month of how do I truly feel about this? What are my desires, my dreams, my goals, and how do I want to feel moving forward? There's a big question mark coming through. And I think there's a lot of emotional discovery or an emotional journey that you might have to go on. Now, that could be from a situation that you have experienced in August. Maybe there has been some heartbreak, some heartache, some really tough truths that you have had to integrate or understand or try to figure out. And now that you know some kind of truth, it's time to pause to really assess, well, how do I feel about this? And what do I want to do about it moving forward? I feel like whatever is going on currently and in the month of September, I feel that you're going to end up in a really good place at the end of the month, because the Sun card is ultimate joy, ultimate expression, ultimate freedom. This is you at your core, at your source, at your best. So whatever this is that you're trying to sort through and sift through and figure out, I think you're going to get clarity, but it requires you to slow down and step into, or at least explore, what feels joyful for you. And that might not be a quick and easy answer, because I feel you are carrying a lot of maybe emotional baggage or desires or needs of other people. And that has to be unraveled a little bit. The Nine of Wands at the bottom of the deck tells me that there's a determination there. There is a resilience there. So I feel like you have carried a lot because you needed to. And so there, I feel like there's this, I'm hearing decoupling. So when a train unlocks itself from the caboose, there's that decoupling energy. I'm seeing that train kind of let go of its, or the engine is letting go of all of the train cars. So it's like uncoupling from all of the energetic weight, maybe the emotional weight that you have been carrying, so diligently carrying and being really resilient in carrying in the past. And this may not necessarily be all yours. I feel like you're a very strong person. You have confidence in leadership to tackle anything. But in that process, you've kind of lost your way a little bit, or lost yourself. And September is going to be a rediscovery of yourself, a rediscovery of your joys, the things that light you up, the things that excite you, the things that make you truly feel like you. I think you're going to find a piece of you again, or multiple pieces of you again. But it requires you to step back, to maybe even recover from something. So there could be something here that just came through. So that's why it sounded so abrupt. I was just looking at this card, and the Four of Swords usually follows the Three of Swords, where it is an energy of a really difficult truth. And the Four is this pause. Pause to reflect, pause to recover, pause to reclaim, I'm hearing. So what is this Four of Swords? Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. We've got the Ten of Swords. So something came to possibly a painful end, but also this could be mental health as well. You're really starting to take care of your mental health, because it got to a point where it was no longer sustainable. You couldn't kind of go on the way that you had been moving. So there's something here that mentally weighed heavy on your mind. So you've either already released that, and that could have been yesterday, that could have been last month, or even a few months ago. And now this is sort of the final release. This month, I feel, is the final release of all of the little bits and pieces that you have carried from other people, other experiences. And with that falling away, with that full release, sure, there's some confusion, but there's also some clarity that comes with that. Apologies, the dog next door likes to go crazy. 7 of Cups. So there's some noise. There could be a lot of mental noise that you're trying to clear out. This may not necessarily have to do with people in the external world or situations. It could just be within your own mind. 7 of Cups. What is this? So maybe this is just a mental loop or something within the mind that you really are done with because it has caused issues in the past. And what is the Sun? Let's clarify the Sun for me. Whatever you're doing, though, I do think that there's success. I do think that there's going to be joy again. Yay! Yay! And then the World in reverse at the bottom of the deck there. All right, so I don't think it's going to be quick and easy. You've got a lot of Swords energy here. All Swords is clarifiers. So I think underneath it, there's going to be a lot of thinking patterns that are going to be resolved, broken, moved away from, healed, because it's really affecting how you feel about something. Maybe even limiting how you move towards your dreams, your goals, desires. It may even keep you stuck from making decisions. So I love that the King of Swords is clarifying the 7 of Cups here, because this is about you trying to get clarity and you trying to master your mind, master how you think, master the information that you take in, mastering that discernment that we talked about at the very beginning, and having as much clarity as you can to know what is mine, what is other people's. And it's not about eliminating all of the external things to just focus on what you know to be true. It's about still taking in that information to fully understand something on a very broad scale, but then coming back to yourself to determine, is this what I feel is the correct decision? Is this how I feel is the appropriate action moving forward? Is this moving me towards what I need, what I want, what I desire? Is this for the highest good of all? Or is this only good for other people or only good for me? So there's a little bit of a balancing that comes in with the King of Swords. Now, I love that the 9 of Swords in reverse is paired with the Sun, because it's like you're no longer worrying about what you can't control. You're no longer maybe in a scarcity mindset or in a mindset that is keeping you stuck or limited or worrying or stressed. You're no longer ruminating about things, maybe from the past, that you can't fix. You're almost no longer taking on the responsibility to fix things from the past that have 2 people or multiple people involved, because it is a group effort. It is a collective effort, and it's not just you that is responsible for everybody's reactions, everybody's decisions. So I feel like you're releasing some level of control here, and you're coming back to your own energy, to knowing who you are, being confident in that, and expressing yourself in a way that relieves the stress and the worry. You're no longer worried about maybe what people think here as well, because you're really clear about what didn't work before and what does work for you. So it's moving in that direction, and it's expressing that kind of on all levels. Now, with the World in reverse, with the 9 of Wands here, both at the bottom of the deck, there's something that is coming to a close, but it may not come to a close right at the end of September. I think that there are some things that do need to get tied up, metaphorically speaking. This also feels like something from the past has to get worked through, or you have to understand something from the past or integrate something from the past in order to fully move on from it. And I'm not really sure what that is, but it is a completion of sorts. It is a sense of freedom. And there's a childlike joy that comes through with the World, because there is this detachment, this decoupling that is happening, and you starting a fresh new cycle. But that fresh new cycle hasn't quite happened yet, and may not happen in September, because there's still a little bit of work to do. So there's still like a last push that you have to do to kind of clear up whatever this energy is in order to fully start the new thing with fresh energy. So let's take a look at your last card and see how that... Interesting. And maybe this is the energy of that world in reverse, is that there's something that is going to get metaphorically lost in this process, and it's time to cut your losses so that you can move on, and that you're no longer attached to something that may be troubling, that may be difficult, that may be painful. That is going to be different for everyone, and the level of challenge within that is going to be different for everyone as well. It's a bit of a battle of the mind in September, but I think you're going to win, is what I'm seeing here in the cards. And it's because you're challenging those old patterns, those old thoughts, those old storylines, and you're cutting them away as soon as you understand what they are, where they're coming from, and whether or not they are hindering or helping. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I do hope these messages were helpful. Let me know in the comments, and until we meet again, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Hello, my dear Soul Path 2. We have All That Glitters and Serendipity. 16 and 18, there could be some interesting serendipitous connections that you experience in the month of September. Be careful of the shiny object syndrome. Now, purite, which is the stone you chose with this particular oracle deck, it's typically a stone of the third eye and the crown chakra. And so there could be some spiritual development that you are working on or working towards in the month of September. There's also this sense of grounding your energy, or at least reflecting on something within yourself to hear your inner knowing a little bit more. So there's a connection to self that could be strengthening in the month of September. So let's get a couple of cards. We'll look at one to start your reading, to open your reading, and then we will pick one for the end, which will be revealed at the end. So reading Soul Path 2. Do I take... Yeah, they came out together, so I feel they are valid. Soul Path 2. You have community and a leg up with 34 and 8. So there's something about you receiving help, maybe even you offering help, and leaning on community, whether that's family, friends, or your network, however you see fit with that. But there's a feeling of just getting help, getting a helping hand, or giving a helping hand for something. Again, I'm getting spiritual community. I'm getting like a leveling up as well. So again, that spiritual ascension of you understanding something or knowing something or connecting with something at a higher frequency. And with this one, I always see the, sticking your neck out. So this might be a little bit of a stretch, no pun intended, but you asking for help or receiving help might be a bit of a stretch and something that you may not have done in the past, or it may be challenging for you. So that might be something that you are working towards in the month of September, is being open to receive and allowing yourself to receive and not feeling like you have to give right away. So it's receiving with gratitude, receiving with thanks. Let's get 3 cards for Soul Path 2. Month of September, please. What do they need to know? Page of Cups. We have the 6 of Cups. 6 of Wands, pardon me. And we have the Sun in reverse. All right, so before I say anything, we have the Strength in reverse. There's a lack of confidence coming through here. I feel like you could possibly very well be a sensitive person, or you are dealing with children in some regard, whether your own or other people. It's almost, there's something about you connecting with a childlike energy, but not embodying that childlike energy yourself. I think embodying your inner child is going to help you level up in some way, maybe help with community connection in some way. It may even help you soften the edges, is what I'm hearing, and I don't know why that is. Because with both of these cards coming through with the Strength card in reverse at the bottom of the deck, this tells me that there's an underlying sense of kind of the lower energies, the stress, the challenges in life, the struggles, the reactivity maybe is getting to you. Like it's overwhelming or overshadowing the joy in life. And I think the month of September is you recapturing that joy again. And with the sun in reverse at the bottom, or pardon me, at the end of this reading here in reverse, it's like you're starting to see little glimpses of it at the end of September. And at the beginning of September, though, I feel like you're just starting on this journey. So I don't know if you've joined a community. I'm seeing somebody joining like a painting workshop or an art workshop or something that's really creative and imaginative. And that might be some guidance, connecting with a creative community, getting a leg up in some regard. So what's interesting is in both of these cards, there is what looks like an adult animal. So there's an adult polar bear, there's an adult giraffe, and there's also a child or a young animal, a young polar bear and a young giraffe. So there's something about either nurturing your inner child or nurturing a child to maybe give them a level up. So I can't really pinpoint the exact situation, but all I will say is there's somebody with a really strong, firm foundation that is offering this level up or is welcoming this childlike energy into their life to be able to foster and nurture some kind of childlike energy, whether it's their own or somebody else's. There's also something about celebration or winning or helping them achieve something as well. This could be you trying to achieve something, because the Six of Wands in the middle of this tells me that at the heart of this, you want to feel fulfilled. You want to feel like you've overcome some kind of struggle. You want to see the rewards for your efforts. And it's not about necessarily leaning on the external world. It's about offering that reward to yourself and that validation to yourself. And that is how the confidence is built. That is how the leadership is built, is maybe inner child healing and validating your own sense of worth, your own sense of value and achievement. Even if the external world isn't acknowledging that, it's important that you do. So that could be how you are either building confidence or giving yourself a leg up, is that it's almost like pride is coming through. And there's a lack of pride kind of underlying this energy with the Strength in reverse. A lack of confidence, a lack of kind of the challenges in life, and maybe your anxieties and stresses getting the better of you and dampening that inner child spirit. Page of Cups. Maybe it's coming into community with your own inner child. Six of Wands and Sun in reverse. There's a lot of Pentacle energy here. Yeah, okay. Pentacle energy is kind of the dominant cards of the 4 cards that were pulled for the clarifiers, which means that there's a grounded energy. There's also something about your values coming through and the things that you put your time and energy and effort towards. The 10 of Pentacles can be about legacy. So it can be about the things that you put your time and energy into over a lifetime to be able to support the needs and desires of others, to have stability and to have security for others as much as yourself. Now, this could be you creating some kind of legacy for your children, or maybe the children of the world in the more broader sense. and to be able to help and assist them achieve in life in some way. Now, when it comes to inner child healing, there could be something about your family connections that needs to be looked at. There's something about providing security and safety for your inner child. Maybe you had that security in your childhood, but you kind of want to play now. It's interesting that I'm getting this because I'm getting a lot of messages here, but the page, which typically is the child of the tarot, is an older gentleman. And so it's almost like this older gentleman, who is also here in the Ten of Pentacles, has achieved a lot of success in their life. It could be monetary success. It could be they have a house. They have all of the material things that they felt was important at one point. But for some reason, there's an inner child that wants to come out and play now. So I'm almost getting like somebody who has worked their entire life and is now ready to retire, for example, and wants to actually dive into what feels joyful, what feels expressive, what feels intuitive. And so I almost wonder if you're getting to some kind of point where you've achieved a certain level of success in your business or your career, but there's something that's been missing in that equation. And you are reconnecting with an inner child to find a little more joy. Maybe your definition of success is changing. So it's not necessarily about the monetary things or the things in the material world that you would like to have. It's more about what you find joyful and rewarding. But I feel in the past you haven't had the confidence to chase that, or maybe your worth was tied to how much money you earned, but you're seeing something in a different way. And maybe community has some part in that, or you'd like to build a community to maybe help others move through something similar. Now, the Two of Pentacles paired with the Six of Wands, I feel like you get a lot of pride out of the things that you can manage, the things that you can tackle or juggle. Now, this could also mean that your energy is in two places at once, where maybe your energy is still in the business or the career, but you're trying to build something else. So your energy could be in two places at once in the month of September, especially if you are moving into something different in a new career path or in a new business direction. It's kind of juggling those two things. There's a transitionary period, and I'm kind of seeing that with the Judgment card at the bottom of the deck as well, of having a higher calling and moving towards that. But that's not necessarily a quick process. It is something that has to happen over a period of time. So you move from the Ten of Pentacles to the Two of Pentacles. You've like pared back something here, and you're managing things, you're juggling things. Maybe you're doing a couple of things all at once to kind of make ends meet, but it's rewarding work. And so that might be an energy of September as well. And it feels good to you, whatever it is that you're doing, because you are ambitious and you are determined to move beyond whatever challenge that you are facing. And you want to see the rewards. You want to see the joy that comes from this. So you're going to do what you need to do in order to move towards that. And if splitting your time in two different places needs to be done, then I think you're going to be doing that as well. This is also prioritization as well, the Two of Pentacles, of really prioritizing what's most important, especially if you're making some kind of shift or movement in some kind of direction. If something is really important to you, then what kind of time, energy, or money are you dedicating to making that happen? And what maybe are you releasing in that process as well? Because we only have so much time, energy, and resources. So how are you allocating all of that? And then the High Priestess here, paired with the Sun in reverse, I think there's going to be a stronger connection to your inner guidance, your inner knowing. We talked about that with the Pure Purite Stone. This is about spiritual ascension and knowledge, spiritual knowledge of what you are gathering about yourself, who you are within, how you connect with your intuition, what you do with that information, how you make decisions, how you express. And so I think the way in which you are moving, the way in which you are making decisions or expressing yourself in the month of September is going to slowly start to change. You're moving away from something that feels like it's been a bit of a challenge and you didn't feel at your fullest expression in this space, in this place, with this person. And so now you're doing something that feels more meaningful. You're being called to something higher, maybe a higher expression, a more spiritual expression of whatever it is that you're doing. And I think you're going to do that even though you may not have the confidence and you might have a little bit of doubt. I feel like you're seeing the potential and it actually feels better than maybe what you were doing before. So again, there's this leg up, there's this level up energy, and I get that with the Judgment card here at the bottom of the deck, clarifying the Strength card in reverse. It's like you are done playing small. You are done suppressing that inner child. You are done just working until you retire. I think there's something bigger going on here. There's something that you want to achieve that goes beyond what you've already achieved. And it feels more meaningful. It feels more spiritual, and it almost feels bigger than you. So there's a legacy energy. There's a community aspect to it. It feels more connected than what you have been doing in the past has felt like. So there's a Phoenix rising energy here. There is you making a big choice, which you may make in September, but I think you're going to start to see what that decision is in September. And it might be a little scary, which may be why the sun is in reverse, because it feels good, but it's terrifying. But just because it's terrifying and uncomfortable and a little unknown doesn't mean that you shouldn't go in that direction. So let's take a look at the bottom of the deck energy, flexible, number 19. And this is the sun card. Number 19 is the sun card. So it's kind of cool that we're seeing that at the end of your reading, but also flexible, being flexible in doing things that you've never done before, being open-minded, just like a child with a new toy or, you know, experimenting with a new hobby or a craft. It's like, I've never done this before, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to play and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to see how it goes. Now, this doesn't mean to, quote, throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. It's taking your time in doing this as well, because we do have some pentacle energy. So it's about slowly releasing and removing what's not feeling aligned, what's not feeling connected to what you value anymore, what's important, what's not. It's not about trashing everything and, you know, lighting everything on fire and starting over again. This is about slowly chipping away at these things that no longer feel like you, to step into an energy that does. So there's a little bit of flexibility that comes in with that, especially with that Two of Pentacles. I do get, you know, being flexible with that as well. And also, I'm getting a bit of Hanged Man energy from this, because this person is upside down, so they're seeing things from a different point of view. They're not doing things in a way that feels conventional, so whatever you're doing could be a little unconventional for you or to other people. So just be really flexible and graceful with yourself. Allow yourself to move and evolve and explore and experiment. I think you're going to find something really exciting in that process. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. I do hope these messages were helpful. Let me know in the comments if they were, and until we meet again, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Hello, my dear Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. Chose the BC Jade Stone with the Hare's Odyssey Oracle. I forgot to look at the split. Love and catching seeds. Be mindful of those who don't want to get pregnant but are in relationships right now or dating. Just be careful. Use precaution if you do not want to get pregnant, because I feel like September could be a very fertile month. But that doesn't necessarily mean relationships. You could be catching some opportunities in some of the things that you do love or will love. So there's something about chasing your passions, and in that process you're seeing opportunities. It's just the first message out. So let's get let's get one card first, and two it is. And then we'll look at this one at the end of the reading to see how it all ties in. So we have above conviction. Yeah, there's a lot of determination here and seeing something from a higher perspective. Because in this card, they're on the ground, they're kind of what they say in the shit. They're in this rainstorm, they're on the ground, they're only seeing things from this lower point of view. And there's this feeling of needing to see something from a higher point of view or a higher perspective to get above the details or get above the noise, get beyond the noise, to not see things in this very moment as forever, but to see beyond it is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. Because there's something about being in the storm or being in a challenge and thinking that it's the end of the world, the sky is falling. So many like metaphors are coming through right now. But it's almost like you have to take your focus off of the rain, off of the storm, off of the challenge. And especially if you can't problem solve it, kind of see beyond it. I'm going to look at the guidebook really quick and see if there's any other messages there. So the above card is about getting distance. So that's what I'm kind of feeling, is that it's not about looking at or being in the problem with the conviction card. It's like stepping back or getting some distance between the trigger or the thing, the situation, to bring some kind of clarity while also grounding yourself to feel connected to the wider universe, the community, the possibilities. And that's kind of the feeling of this BC Jade Stone, is this groundedness that comes in. And to have conviction on your path. So this card talks about believing in yourself, your journey, and your strengths, and to not let other people dampen your spirits, especially if they don't have your best interests at heart or don't fully understand what you're trying to do. It's almost as if you have to see above and beyond the chatter, the noise, the little details that are potentially getting you to doubt or question your path. So let's get a few cards. Yes. You're High Priestess in reverse. It's like you don't trust your inner knowing because there's a lot of maybe naysayers around you right now. A lot of people telling you you can't, you shouldn't, you won't. It's throwing you off. Have the Justice in reverse here, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I think what you're building here is an alignment with what you want to create, what you want to master, what you want to create as a legacy. It's something that you want to build, maybe for your community, for yourself, for your family, etc. So it's something that's going to take time, and it's something that I feel is in alignment with your values, your beliefs, the things that you want to achieve or build in your life. I think that whatever this is will bring you security, or at least makes you feel secure and stable and confident in some regard. But I think the energy that you're kind of starting out the month with is this energy of I don't trust. I think something, we'll get clarifiers, but there's something that comes in that I feel is getting you to doubt yourself. Because I think you see that there's bigger potential for something here. There's long-term energy here where you can kind of see the end goal. You kind of see where you're going. You know what you're building. You know what you want to create. But people are like, I don't know if you should. And you're like, maybe I shouldn't. So maybe you're absorbing a lot of people's fears, doubts, stresses, panic. It's like your energy centers are open to receiving other people's stuff. And that's clouding your own good judgment. And especially with the Justice in reverse, that is your good judgment. That is your ability to integrate and make decisions based on the things that you have learned in your past. But again, there's like either a lack of judgment or an imbalance of not making decisions from a place of clarity. It's like you can't see beyond the noise. And it's throwing off your decision making. It's throwing off your inner guidance. And there's a lot of doubt here. and even a lack of discernment. So be aware of that. And I think the above card is definitely some guidance for you, is that you need space between the noise and you, so that you can hear your own inner wisdom and come to some kind of decision based on that inner wisdom, based on what you feel is correct, based on the lessons you've learned, the knowledge you've gained, and getting really truthful with yourself. The justice can be about truth, whether it is a truth we want to hear or not. So maybe this is you needing to deliver some kind of truth of, this is what I've decided, these are my reasons why, and I'm going to work my butt off to make that happen. And that is that Eight of Pentacles, that mastery of doing something over and over and over again until you get it right and you do it well. So let's get some clarity. Your family could be a pretty significant influence on you. And, you know, maybe you don't want, as an example, because we talked about it at the very beginning, maybe you don't want children as an example, and you just want to focus on your career, or maybe build a business or something. And there's a heavy influence of, no, you have to go to college, you get a job, you have children, or you get married, you have children, like by the book stuff, and you kind of want to do things a little bit differently. So there's a sense of not doing things conventionally, or doing things, or it could be the opposite as well, right? Where you do want a family and you do want to have something more traditional. But everybody's like, no, you should open a business, or do this career, or do that, or travel, or something, right? So there's something about opposing energies coming through here. What's the High Priestess in reverse? Yeah, see? Not listening to your inner wisdom, your inner guidance, your inner compass, your intuition is keeping you stuck in place and making you think like you can't achieve. So there's something here that's blocking your vision. Woo! Okay, that fell off the table. Where did it go? And it's a bit of a heavy burden. It's something pretty heavy that you're carrying. When you don't make decisions from a place of clarity, when you're kind of absorbing other people's desires, needs, wants, fears, it blocks your vision. There we go. Yeah, you know, that's good. Awesome. Okay. All right. So most of the month, I think the bulk of the month is going to be you working through this, of like getting space between the noise and you to try to figure out, is this actually what I want? And kind of seeing how you're being blocked. What's blocking you from moving forward? What's keeping you stuck? Is it yourself and your own limiting beliefs that are telling you you can't? Or is it something or someone in the external world, the external noise, that is blocking you from hearing your inner wisdom, or is instilling fear, instilling doubt, and keeping you stuck in place? Understand that the Eight of Swords is this energy of perceived stuckness, and that you can make a decision to just start walking in the direction that feels correct, and the path will be shown as you start walking that path, and you will break free from that. But it requires a decision. It requires that step in that direction, rather than you standing still and not being able to move forward, or perceiving that you cannot move forward. It's all, I want to say it's all an illusion. So just check in with that to see, like, am I feeling stuck? If so, am I feeling stuck because I want to make a decision, but there's something in the external that is preventing me or influencing me otherwise? Or is this a perceived stuckness that I can easily get out of just by making a decision? This could also be some mental loops or some thought patterns that are kind of mulling about within your mind that is keeping you stuck as well. So I don't feel that this decision that you'd like to make or the path that you'd like to walk is about the thoughts, the mind, the logic. It is about your intuition. And so that is what needs to be connected in with. And the intuition is a very subtle, very quiet, very soft knowing. And in order to hear that, we do have to cut out the noise. And then the Justice in reverse with the Ten of Wands, it's like there's, again, both of these people's sight is blocked. This person has a blindfold on and they can't see if they can actually move and where they're moving to. And this person has so many things to consider and to do that they're just moving forward and have no idea if they're going in the right direction. They're just pushing ahead, maybe hoping that things will be relieved. But this is an assessment of that at this time. There could be a breaking point that you come up against or come across where you're feeling exhausted, you're feeling drained, you feel like you can't move on, you can't move forward because there's just so much on your plate. There's so much weighing heavy on your mind, on your energetic body that needs to be released. Something has to give here. And I think it's about you deciding, with the Justice in the upright here and the Eight of Pentacles in the upright, this is you deciding what you want to create for your life, what you want to put your time, energy, and effort in order to master something. What is the work that you feel is most fulfilling? What do you want to build towards? And how would you like to spend your time? How would you like to spend your energy? So this feels like a decision has been made closer to the end of the month because you have faith and belief in yourself. You have the dedication and the commitment to this thing that you're moving towards. And with this King of Pentacles, I feel like it's going to be something that's going to support you, that is going to be solid, that is going to create a life of abundance, that will maybe even support other people in some way. So I feel whatever confused or foggy energy that you are feeling at the beginning of September is going to clear out at the end of September. And the decision that you make is going to be one that is very grounded, that is very, I want to say practical. It may not be practical to others, but it's practical to you. And I think you've taken everything into consideration. So it's not something that you're doing out of a whim or out of impulse. It's something that you've really considered and something that you have contemplated. You've maybe spent some time to reflect upon. And it's something that you're truly committed to moving ahead with once you make the decision. So let's look at the final card, Connect. To me, this feels like you are connecting with something that is deeper than you have in the past. So this is not just surface level. This is something that is deep within you that you're connecting with. Maybe your inner knowing, maybe something within your subconscious that you're clearing or you're getting information on that is allowing you to make new decisions, or you're clearing something up within the subconscious. Maybe these limiting beliefs, maybe these burdens, or maybe some people-pleasing energy, so that you can move forward in a way that feels authentic and genuine to you. And what's interesting is we started the reading with above, and now we have below. So there's this energy of as above, so below. And you're understanding that how you feel within, what you understand about your subconscious, is the thing that's going to help you to stay stuck or move forward. And it's about how you feel within you and what you understand about your core beliefs that is going to remove the blocks, release the burdens, and allow you to move confidently into whatever it is that you want to build for yourself, regardless of what other people say or think. And that's a really beautiful energy. That is empowering energy. So these are the messages I have for you, my dear Soul Path 3. I hope they were helpful. Let me know in the comments. And until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.